Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Mike DeBoard, president of B3 Sciences. I want to welcome everyone to the live presentation on Wednesday night, as well as everyone who's watching the recorded presentation. Tonight is a very exciting presentation, especially for women. If you've heard anything about B3 bands, you've heard about this new way to exercise. Well, tonight we're going to talk about how this will be the breakthrough for women for losing weight, toning up, and balancing hormones. And what's the best part about it, as Amber will share with you, you can do all of this in less than 20 minutes per day. We launched this company in the fall of 2019 with a new idea. No more heavy weights, no more 45-minute or hour-long workouts. If you love the gym, great, but guess what? You can do this right from home, from work or travel, as Amber does. No special equipment needed, but hey, if you've got equipment like a vibration plate or a home gym or an exercise bike, even better. These new workouts are not going to create any pain and soreness, and this is the big one you're going to hear about tonight. It's going to change the hormone levels in your body, starting with growth hormone. In 2020, the first full year, people all across the country poured in, moms, dads, seniors. This is when Amber found out about the company. Athletes, celebrities, we'll talk about a few of those. Physical therapists, personal trainers, physically challenged people. And now we have USA Olympic teams that are using the B3 bands. We've got famous celebrities like Mark Wahlberg and Nick Cannon. You've heard of these doctors. Dr. Mercola, one of the most famous natural alternative doctors, and everybody knows who Dr. Oz is. In addition, we have NFL teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. One of our favorite B3 bands proponents is Rick Burkholder. He is the most famous and respected athletic trainer in the NFL. Not only does he use it in his training room on his athletes, his family also uses it. He uses it. His kids that are high school athletes use it. And busy professionals. This is Craig. Craig never leaves his office. He doesn't even change clothes. He just puts the bands on, hooks up his exercise tubing, and in 10 minutes, he gets a complete workout that releases growth hormone, completely changes his body, and he doesn't even sweat. How about weight loss? We're going to talk a lot about that tonight. There are so many people out there challenged with weight loss. Stan is one of those people. He doesn't want to work out for 45 minutes to an hour, doesn't want to lift heavy weights. Stan simply worked out in his basement 20 minutes, 5 days per week with the help of Team Burn out there in Utah, Tammy and Janine, and he lost an incredible 100 pounds in 9 months. An incredible story. Men at any age are losing weight, building muscle. We have men in their 70s, 50s, and 20s doing light exercise with B3 bands, putting muscle on. We have women who are losing weight, toning up. It's easier on their body. They love working out with the bands. And best of all, it turns on these hormones we're going to talk about, the growth hormone, the thyroid hormones, and people look and feel younger. And it's also great for kids. Kids love it and parents love it because now your kids can do training in a lightweight atmosphere, meaning no stress on their growth plates, no heavy weights. It's completely safe, and it's going to allow them to build muscle and strength fast and perform better. And we have a whole host of people who have been in wheelchairs and walkers and have physical challenges that are using the bands. This is Homer. He was in a wheelchair for 4 years. Within 2 weeks, he was standing up on his own. Within 4 weeks, he was walking. This is Jennifer. Jennifer's like many ladies out there. As they go through life in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, she developed fibromyalgia. And she'll tell you that her pain was so bad in her body that she just wanted to stab her arms and legs with knives, not even looking at the fact that she couldn't exercise anymore. Within a couple of weeks, Jennifer, and using the bands with light exercise, her pain went away, her energy came back. She'll tell you, I never thought any of this possible. She's now training for a full marathon. Here's another person with pain. Tim, like many people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who get arthritis and have no solution. As you'll see in this presentation, B3 bands turn on growth hormone, and then they improve oxygenation throughout the entire body, like in arthritic joints. Tim had pain in his knees and swelling for 15 years. Within a couple weeks, pain and swelling gone, doing light exercise that every one of you can do. He'll tell you, I never thought any of this was possible. Why is this so profound? Well, first you need to understand what's going on in your body with growth hormone. When you were born, and as you go through childhood and your entire life, you have two ways that growth hormone is released. The most common is on a clock. It happens every single night. It's called your natural nighttime growth hormone release. And when you're in your teens and early 20s, look at that chart over there. Everything's great because you're getting this big growth hormone surge at night. But then look what happens in your late 20s on the chart there. And then your 30s and 40s. This natural growth hormone that you don't control, it slows down. And you know it because you start having things like low energy, weight gain, and then aging starts in. And this is where a lot of women are challenged and struggle because the weight gain, the muscle loss, the low energy, the fatigue, the lack of sleep, the decreased libido, thin and dry skin, arthritis, and loss of bone density. Ladies and men, you can't stop this from happening if you rely only on Mother Nature and your natural growth hormone. But there is a solution, and we're going to talk about it in just a second. But there's one other thing that we don't get to talk about a lot. And ladies, you've probably heard about this. Your thyroid gland, hypothyroidism. What is it? You know, most of us, and especially women who come down with this in their 30s and 40s, they start noticing things like low energy, hair thinning, loss of hair, poor appetite, can't sleep. And many of us relate that to low thyroid production. But how does the thyroid really work? You see, your thyroid does not function by itself. Many of you have never heard of what's called thyroid stimulating hormone. You see, there's a little gland up in your brain that is responsible for growth hormone and responsible for thyroid stimulating hormone. What does thyroid stimulating hormone do? Well, as you age and get in your 30s and 40s, it's what tells your thyroid, ladies, to make thyroid hormone. Now, when you live a sluggish lifestyle and you don't get regular high intensity exercise, guess what happens? Not only is your growth hormone levels low, your thyroid stimulating hormone levels are low, which then leads to low production of thyroid hormones. Now, it's very simple to understand how to fix this. Go read what Harvard says, or Yale, or Mayo Clinic. They all say the same thing. Hypothyroid patients need to do high intensity exercise. Why? Because it releases thyroid stimulating hormone. And then we get to the problem of dieting. Most people have tried some sort of diet. I don't want to pick on any diets out there. Here's what I'll tell you. You've all experienced this. You go on a diet, you lose a little bit of weight from doing something that is reducing calories, and your metabolism slows down. And you look like that chart right there. You lose some weight, and then as soon as you start eating normal, you gain more weight than you lost. Why? You've lowered your metabolism, and this is a trap. There is only one way, once you get into your 30s, 40s, and 50s, to keep your metabolism at a healthy level so you can maintain weight. And if you don't do this, you're never going to be able to keep a healthy metabolism. You're never going to be able to maintain weight. And it's very simple. It's high intensity exercise that releases growth hormone. Let's go back to what we talked about earlier. Your natural growth hormone is slowing down in your late 20s, but you have a solution: high intensity exercise. What does that mean? That means when you do exercise where you feel the burn in your muscles, 15 minutes after that, you get a big surge of growth hormone. And this is on tap your whole life. It doesn't have anything to do with Mother Nature. Ladies and men on the call, you have this in your body your entire life. All you got to be able to do is this high intensity exercise, and we're going to give you a solution. Now, of course, you can go take synthetic hormones, which will turn off your own natural hormones, and they have many problems with health risks, and they're super expensive, and that really is not a viable option. So now we're left with the solution, and we all know this. Let's think about it. If we all went to the gym and did 20 to 25 minutes on the Peloton or on the elliptical machine, I'm not talking about la-di-da, just a simple pace. I'm talking about your legs are on fire and you're breathing heavy. And then you get off and you go lift heavy weights and your muscles are all burning from the heavy weights and you're sore the next day. That's high intensity exercise. We all know how we'd feel, what we'd look like, what the scale would do if we could do that 5 or 6 days a week. We wouldn't have problems with weight and being toned up and having muscle and having energy. But look, we all have the same problem. I'm in the same boat you are. Amber's in the same boat. We all have one of these challenges. Amber will tell you hers. Hers was she was doing the 45 minutes to an hour, but it wasn't high enough intensity to release growth hormone. What's mine? I've got a lot of arthritis in the body, and there's no way I can tolerate high intensity exercise, but I can do it with demands. Many people just don't have the time, and many people are stuck at home. The bottom line is this: very few people can do high intensity exercise, which means we're stuck. We're stuck with weight gain. We're stuck with early aging, arthritis, pain, poor energy, lack of sleep, and all the things that go through our middle ages. Until now, an exciting scientific breakthrough called B3 Mans. What do they do for people who are here for the first time? Well, if you look at all those pictures, and that's Amber in the middle there with her nice lean body, they all have these bands on. You simply slide them up your arms and legs, and you put a little air in them. Now, the first thing to understand is it's not a blood pressure cuff. Ours, because of the patented design of the multiple air chambers, do not function like a tourniquet. They simply slow down blood flow. It's completely safe. Although we're slowing down blood flow in your arms and legs, your heart isn't sensing anything different is happening other than exercise. What does this do? This slows down oxygen, which is the main fuel source that your muscles are using. Let's all take an example. We get on the elliptical machine or we go for a walk. The problem is we never feel the burn in our legs when we're doing that. Why? Because there's more oxygen flowing in than we're using. You see, for you to break through and get growth hormone, you have to be doing an exercise at an intensity that uses more oxygen than is available. It's very simple. How do you know it's happening? You feel the burn in your muscles. You all know what it feels like. You might relate it to lactic acid. Well, we've figured out an incredible way to change that. By slowing down the oxygen, you now get to this wonderful fatigue and muscle burn in half the time with half the weight. Let's go back to our example. You're on the elliptical machine. You're watching maybe a little TV or listening to your AirPods to music, and you could go forever if you had enough water. But you're 2 minutes in, 1 minute in with the bands on, and you start feeling the burn like you're running sprints. What's going on? The bands have slowed the oxygen down, and you are now getting the benefits of high intensity exercise, but you're doing something light. And there's so many different ways you can do this. We have over 30 exercise videos. Tonight, Amber's going to share with you how she does it. And I'd encourage you, if you like what you hear from Amber, get a vibration plate. Those are awesome, but you can do any kind of exercise. And the result will be this. Within 5, 10, 15 minutes, you're going to get the benefits of a high intensity workout. You're not going to be sore. You're going to have all kinds of energy. And here's the magic. You're going to surge growth hormone. And then, ladies, your pituitary is also going to drop thyroid stimulating hormone, which is going to help balance the major hormones. I'm talking all of them: estrogen, testosterone, thyroid hormone, and your metabolism is going to soar. Let me show you what this would look like on a chart. This is an actual test. Over on the left side, we're measuring oxygen in middle-aged men. And as you can see on the chart there, their oxygen is dropping down to about 35%. They're doing regular exercise to their fatigue level. This is where most people exercise. They exercise at a level that is not creating enough oxygen deficit, meaning there's not going to be any growth hormone afterward. This is the people that go to the gym for 45 minutes, or maybe use the vibration plate, and Amber's going to share this with you, or go for a walk, or go for a bike ride, or lift light weights, or take a class, and they never hit the fatigue level required to get growth hormone. Now look over on the right side. This is the same men doing bicep curls with half the weight, or women going for a walk, or going up and down the steps, or getting on the vibration plate like Amber. Look at the oxygen deficit. Now, let me put this in perspective for you. When you put demands on, like Amber does, you're going to hit fatigue levels that are typically reserved for Olympic level athletes. You know, the people with the six packs and the muscles. Those are the people that can fatigue at these levels, but not anymore. Every one of you can put demands on. And look at this. This is just one of our 7 studies. Middle-aged men, 25 times increase in growth hormone. Most of you, when you put demands on, will experience growth hormone surge and thyroid stimulating hormone release like you've never experienced in your entire life. That's not even think about your entire life. If you just get that one day out of your life, that day is going to be better. Now, start adding those days up. Start getting growth hormone every day and thyroid stimulating hormone every day, and you're going to lead a completely different life. Amber is going to tell you what that's like, ladies. And then you're going to see an anti-aging effect in your body, and your metabolism is going to skyrocket, and your thyroid is going to turn back on, and your metabolism will burn an extra 400 to 800 calories per day, and in some cases up to 1,000 calories per day. Harvard calls it afterburn. It simply means when you do this kind of exercise, you're going to see your calorie burn soar over the next 24 hours. And if you focus on some sound dietary principles, or you can use some products that we made. If you do anything, and if you've got some great products, keep using them. Or we'd encourage you to try our meal product and our Satisfy product. Meal is a delicious salted caramel shake. Satisfy, you drink between meals and it turns off hunger. If you do this and even take 2 days off and have 2 big cheat days and just eat sensibly over the course of 4 or 5 days with demands, you are going to shed weight fast. Look at this. Kathy and Ronnie couldn't lose weight. All they want to do is go for a walk. Let's face it, walking's not going to create a burn in their muscles. They're never going to stimulate growth hormone. They put the bands on, lost 40 pounds together by simply walking the dog. Lisa, she's on here tonight. She's in great shape. She plays pickleball, but she still can't tone up the way she wants to. She's in that category of people who are doing exercise, but it's not high intensity. It's not creating growth hormone. All Lisa did was put the bands on and played pickleball for the first 10 or 15 minutes. She lost 17 pounds. Nothing changed, just put the bands on. Here's Haley. Haley is a yoga instructor. She can't lose weight. No offense to the yoga people. It's great exercise, great mind, body, core strengthening. Ladies doing yoga, that's not high intensity. That's not going to release growth hormone unless you are doing yoga at a super high level. And it's very simple. If you're feeling the burn in all of your muscles, you're doing it enough. Haley simply put the bands on and walked for 15 minutes a day and starting shedding weight fast, 15 pounds and 10 inches in a matter of 2 months. What else benefits? We don't have time to go into all the other benefits, but your cardiovascular system gets younger. And this has been proven in studies with people who walk with BFR bands like B3 bands. Ladies, guess what else benefits? Your bones get stronger. So ladies, not only are you going to have more energy, tone up your body, stimulate growth hormone, turn on your thyroid, your bones are going to get stronger. And it's been proven in studies. Your brain is going to benefit better when you do BFR, blood flow restriction exercise with B3 bands. Even your immune system has been proven in studies to be stronger. Blood sugar levels are better maintained in people who do high intensity exercise. And even varicose veins and venous compliance is shown to dramatically improve with simple walking with BFR bands like B3 bands. And B3 bands are the only BFR bands on the market that have been proven safe. You know, we started this industry several years ago, and there was only us and one other company out there. And their product is $5,000 and can only be used by a medical professional. Now you can go online and see all kinds of dangerous imitation copycats. Here's what you need to know. We are the only company that has the patented air chamber that doesn't function like a tourniquet. And we are the only company that has safety studies that show that it does not increase arterial pressure and does not put any additional oxygen demand on your heart. Well, let's get to Amber, because when I met Amber, and she's going to tell you her story, she heard what the B3 bands could do. And I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm just going to unmute her here. And all I can tell you is Amber has been an incredible ambassador for not only exercise, but she's a representative for Life Pro and vibration plates. And now she's helped close to 200 people already benefit from B3 bands. So Amber, welcome to our presentation tonight. And I know everybody's excited to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah, hi everybody. Perfect timing, because I actually just finished like a 15-minute, hold up here. Yeah, just finished a 15-minute Life Pro workout. And as some of you might have observed me, I wasn't really doing anything major, just standing, rocking back and forth, just getting my muscles to absorb that energy. And so I feel good. I don't do anything heavy right before bed, but if I can get the B3 bands on and get some of that hormone stimulating, because that's what causes us to recover and heal, especially when we sleep. So I like to get on the platform later in the evening and just wind down with the bands on, not doing a whole lot of afterburn, but just getting enough of a stress reaction that I'm able to like calm down and go to bed. A lot of you who are not from Life Pro don't know my story, but I have a background in sports medicine and exercise kinesiology from 2002. And in 2005, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident after covering a baseball tournament and suffered 8 spinal injuries, head injury, severe spinal strain, and the immediate onset of fibromyalgia. And so it took me 2 years to learn to walk again. Long story short, because of my head injury, I went through hormonal menopause at the age of 27. And so my brain quit producing certain hormones. I had hypothyroidism. I went from being a happy 145 pounds to 200 pounds in about 6 months of medicinal weight from taking 21 pills a day, because that's what the doctors told me to do with my injuries. They didn't know anything about fibromyalgia back then as they do now. And so I was a clinical subject for a lot of the head injury stuff that you're starting to hear about now with concussion management. Um, and then as well as with fibromyalgia, they didn't know about that as much about that then as they do now. I was kind of like the garbage can diagnosis, if you will. And so they just gave me lots and lots of drugs, and the drugs made me worse, and they made me age, and they made me feel horrible. And to the point that I eventually got away from that. But I've been learning about hormones for several years, dating all the way back to that point, because when you go through menopause at the age of 27 and you're only married 9 months, you have to find a way in order to continue forward in life with a different journey than what the doctors tell you that you're capable of. And so for me, I ended up in hiring an anti-aging specialist, a neurologist who only worked in anti-aging. So I had to pay him out of pocket because insurance doesn't cover that. And that's when I really started to understand a lot about the different hormones and how we manage those hormones, and started managing the hormones with back then, prescriptions through big pharma, and because they didn't have a lot of the same options they have now. And so, long story short, with all of that, I've been on this roller coaster ride with hormone issues and with the repercussions of the head injury. I delivered my daughter 10 years ago and then have had a lot of hormonal infertility problems in conceiving. So, had a total hysterectomy 2.5 years ago. I was around 165 pounds going into that hysterectomy, and I was 200 pounds within 6 months after. So I kept my ovaries, and very humiliated. Couldn't do a whole lot of anything because my body just was not wanting to adjust. I was in a lot of pain, even after I had the hysterectomy. And so finally went to my gynecologist and said, something is wrong. There's something wrong with me. I know something's wrong with me and I need tested. And he said, nope, you're just too far ahead of it. You're going to be fine. You just need time. I said, doctor, I don't have time. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a friend, I'm a business owner. I deserve better. And so I'm going to find my own way. And so I let it go. And it was about a year after that whole situation went down that I actually met Dr. Mike at in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I had gone there to share the story about my business. What I do in sports medicine is very rare, in that I'm in private practice and work with a large variety of different individuals for pain purposes. But long story short, he said two things that caught my attention: growth hormone and testosterone. Those two things were the two buzzwords, because I've been researching this stuff for a long time. He said those two words, and my eyes automatically like zoned into his presentation, the same presentation you all just observed. And what is really important to understand is I had already looked at the injections. I had already started abdominal injections for different types of hormones. And I was already looking into doing pellet replacement therapy with BioT pellets. And I had already done, like, I was already at the gym working out for an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. What I have learned over all the years is when we exercise too hard, and because I'm in this world and I've been in this world for over 20 years, I'm addicted in a good kind of way to exercise because it's my stress relief. But what I've not understood, and what a lot of doctors don't understand. So, a lot of your doctors, when you tell them you're trying to lose weight, yeah, you got to have calories in versus calories out, and that's a bunch of crap. It's not true. And it's not true in that if your hormones are not balanced out properly, your calories are measured differently in your body, and your metabolism is much different than what most of us have accustomed ourselves to over time. And so here I am going to the gym because I wanted to get off all this total hysterectomy weight. And I was 200 pounds at the time and still working out hard. And I'm still having pain because I'm not supposed to be working out hard because my body is trying to rehabilitate itself. And you don't do hard exercise when you've just given up your uterus and when the rest of your body is trying to come full term with the trauma that you've just sustained. It has to go through a recovery process. But how can you exercise and how can you lose the weight and get the calorie expenditures to where you want it to be if you can't exercise because you're still in this recovery state that the doctors say that you're just going to have to be there for a while? So when Dr. Mike, came to our little organization, um, I went over and I talked to him. I'm like, I get it. Like, I understand the science you're talking about. I want to go ahead and buy them. And so I bought in immediately. I didn't even wait to try them for myself. I bought in immediately at the founder's level because I know the science and I know it works. And I know that if we can find ways to do it naturally, it is a hack. We're hacking into our brain, into our body to release this hormone that no longer really exists, but on a trace level. And the fact that we can hack into that and that they've been doing that with the Olympians for several decades, and they're doing it with professional athletes. I worked with a couple of professional athletes 2 weeks ago. They're doing it in their training facilities to rehabilitate them in half the time so that they can go out and play because that's what they're paid to do. And so, in knowing that the technology is possible, I bought the bands and put myself through it immediately. The problem that I ran into was that I'm used to exercising hard all the time and I actually enjoy it. Most of you can't stand it. I actually enjoy it. So when I put the bands on and was at the gym, and the first month, I worked out for an hour at a time doing elliptical trainer, doing stair climber, doing kickboxing. And then I would take the bands off for 20 minutes and I go lift some weights and I put the bands back on. And I did that for like an hour and a half. I know it's crazy, right? But seriously, I lost 9 pounds in the first month not dieting because I don't diet. I don't like to diet. I am a food connoisseur. I like to eat. Okay. So I don't want to have to diet. So what happened was a week after I'd lost that 9 pounds, COVID shut everything down. And so next thing I know, I'm trying to adjust like the rest of the world. And so that next 2 weeks, I didn't do any B3 training whatsoever because I was just trying to figure out what the heck was going on with my family at home. So no exercise, no workouts, no vibration platform at that point. I had started using the platforms just to get my pelvic floor to refire like I needed it to, and that's how I got introduced to the Life Pro platforms. And so finally, 2 weeks goes by, and Dr. Mike contacted me, and he's like, "Hey, Amber, how's the B3 bands going?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, haven't been doing that lately." And so he was like, "Amber, it only takes 20 minutes, even if you got to put them on and do chores. Like you guys just might have seen me, might have witnessed me standing on one of the platforms and just having the bands on, not doing exercise, just standing there and letting the platform activate 90% of my muscle fibers for me." So I said, "Okay, I get it. All right, Dr. Mike, you're right." So I put the bands on and I start teaching virtual workouts for my clients. So it gave me motivation to want to put the bands on and to want to actually do something. And so he started observing some of my workouts and he said, "Amber, I love what you're doing, but you're working way too hard." And I'm like, "But Dr. Mike, this is what I do." And he was like, "Amber, you got to stop." And here's the thing, guys. Um, I have had several doctors, several weight loss doctors who have told me for the last decade since my head trauma, you can only exercise for 20 minutes before you start to increase your stress hormones. And I knew that going into it, but it's that calorie out versus calorie in. So I get into this pissing match on Life Pro forums all the time. It is not as simple as calories in versus calories out. And I know this from trial and error over all these years. When you exercise really, really hard and you increase your stress hormones, it creates inflammation. And if you already have hypothyroidism, if you already have fibromyalgia, if you have MS, if you have any of these different autoimmune diseases and you're increasing inflammation at the same time because you're trying to exercise to feel better, you're just creating yourself a bigger mountain to climb and you're climbing uphill the whole time. So I listened, I put a tremendous amount of trust into Dr. Mike and said, "Okay, I get what you're saying. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do 20-minute workouts and then I'm going to do 10 minutes of core pelvic floor stabilization slash abs or mobility, like stretching out at the extra 10 minutes so that I actually felt like I could give my clients and my following the 30 minutes that I really was comfortable with doing." So I always set a timer, 20 minutes. You can go back and watch my journey all the way back to last April, and you can watch the whole transformation. But 50 pounds, I'm now 50 pounds lighter than I was when I started this journey. And I don't diet, still have not dieted. So what I want you to understand, it doesn't matter what kind of activity you do, There are some days that I've taught kickboxing workouts. When I discovered using the Life Pro platform at the same time of wearing the B3 bands, it was a time management hack for me. It was one of those moments where I knew I had to do something for Life Pro, and I knew I wanted to wear the bands, and I knew I had to cater a workout to my clients, but how was I going to do it all together? So that's exactly what I did. I did it all together one day, and I had lost about 25 pounds along this journey to get started, and then I hit like this plateau. And when I got on the platform and did the platform at the same time, I went to have my hormones tested because I get my hormones tested every 3 months. I went and saw my hormone specialist, and she said, "Amber, what are you doing different?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You're down like 13 pounds this month. How did you do that?" And I said, "Well, I haven't done anything different." And she was like, "You had to have done something. Like nobody loses this kind of weight in a month, and it's actually fat loss because they're able to measure that on the scale." And I'm like, "Well, let me think about this." I'm like, "Oh, I combined the whole body vibration platform with the B3 bands instead of doing a separate Life Pro workout with all the Life Pro customers and doing a separate workout with the B3 bands, doing my normal routine with all my other clients that normally would come to my gym. I just combined the two together and just posted in both places at the same time." She was like, "Keep doing what you're doing. We like this is amazing." And so I did that, and I was able to lose. I'm now lighter than I have been in, well, I'll put it to you this way. I haven't weighed less than 150 pounds since 2005 when I got into the accident. I was able to get some of that medicinal weight back down, but never have made it under 150. Still have not hit 149 yet. And I'm telling you what, ladies, when I hit 149, we're going to be having a party because I'm not trying. I'm just enjoying the process. I'm embracing the journey. I think sometimes when we try way too hard, we create more mental stress for ourselves than what we are recognizing the greatness that we've already created. And for me, I was developing muscles and abs, and my legs, which are normally tree trunks, were actually small for a change, which was really, really cool. And so I started embracing that and being like, man, if I can get these muscles, and here I am 43 years old and have, I don't have the ability to produce certain hormones because of my adversity. But man, if I can get these muscles, you got to remember, guys, I've been in the weight room for 25 years lifting heavy weights, like normal Olympic weightlifting for several years, and could not get the muscle definition that I'm getting now. And that was doing traditional periodization and dieting. Um, I didn't have the hormones in my system genetically in order to do that. And then when I went through the accident and my brain shut down so many hormones and couldn't get those back, I didn't start experiencing what I thought was long gone until I started using the bands. And with the platform, I have fibromyalgia, but I'm asymptomatic most of the time. I am struggling a little bit with a headache today, but it's been a very stressful day in my world of business. So I'm not surprised, but just standing on the platform with the bands on has calmed the intensity of my headache down. Um, what I want to make sure that you all know is sometimes we try too hard and we don't recognize what's right in front of us because we're looking for something much bigger. We're looking for the number on the scale to tip. We're looking for the size of clothes to shrink down. And when we outthink that kind of stuff, we create more stress hormone. We don't realize that what we think about mentally and spiritually creates physical distress in the form of extra hormone production, in the form of stress hormones. And anytime you have an increase in stress hormones, it keeps the body from letting fat break down for energy. It blocks fat metabolism because it's our form of survival. So if you are struggling with true fat loss, not weight loss, because there is a difference. If you are truly struggling with fat loss, I encourage you to, if you don't already have the bands, try the bands out and see how you do with them. I've got so many videos that are out on YouTube, and I've done some videos for B3, and we'll be continuing to do some videos for B3 that are much more modified. Those of you that want modified workouts, or maybe you want something off of the platform, kickboxing, different styles, because I've taught so many different workouts. Give yourself the chance. And if you've been wearing the B3 bands and you've been using the platform, or maybe you haven't used the platform, either way, if you've had the B3 bands and if you are not responding to the bands the way that you desire to respond, you need to have your hormones checked, because hormones dictate what happens with our body on a chemical level. And when it comes down to the anatomical structure and whether we're releasing fat for energy, a lot of that is dictated in the fascia. And so when we're able to remodel fascia and we're able to create this human growth hormone effect and we're able to regulate hormones, then our body is now in the position in which all the waters are calm, all the stars are aligned, and now our body is ready to let go of the excess fat that we don't need for fuel, and we're able to metabolize it much easier without having to eat a certain way. I'll be honest with you. I've done keto in years past, and it's what actually led me to my hysterectomy. It created so much inflammation in my body that it threw jet fuel on my endometriosis. It actually caused more problems for me. So, after trying so many different diets, because I have had body image issues most of my life, I am a survival of sexual abuse from my childhood. So, for me, my body image is been imperative most of my life. And I will tell you, at the age of 43, I feel like I'm living in my 20s all over again. And I am finally at peace with what I look like and how I feel. And it's really, really, really cool. But if you happen to have struggles with where you're at with your weight and with your fat and how you're distributing that, and you've tried everything, the hormones, and I'm gonna give you a list of these things that you want to, if you're able to re-listen to this later on, listen to it. But you need to get your cortisol checked. Your cortisol is your stress hormone, and when your cortisol levels are off the chart, abnormally high, it is impossible to lose the weight. So if we are stressed, whether we are mentally stressed, whether we are physically stressed or spiritually stressed, if we're stressed in any of those areas, that cortisol hormone goes up because it puts us into a state of fight or flight, it puts us into a state of survival. And so when you're in that mode, if you don't know how to downregulate that mode, then you're working against yourself. So get your cortisol checked, and you have to do that through salivary testing most of the time, and it's a 12-hour collection. Get your TSH, your free T3, your reverse T3, and your free T4. Those are the thyroid hormones. You want to get all those checked, because a lot of doctors will say, well, you're in the normal range. You want to command your physician or your specialist that you want to be in optimal levels. That's what B3 is all about. It's about getting the human growth hormone and testosterone in optimal levels, not normal, optimal. When you are in optimal levels, you go backwards in the aging process. And as we get older, those hormones get lower and lower and lower into more of that questionable state. But most doctors will not start treating it pharmaceutically until you're already in the red zone. It's too late. You don't want to be in the red zone because you're fighting an uphill battle. Get your DHEA tested, okay? Your testosterone, most women don't think that testosterone is an imperative hormone, but I actually get testosterone pellets, bioidentical pellets, because my body, my levels are so low that I can't maintain lean muscle mass if I try to maintain lean muscle mass. And the secret to burning more fat and increasing metabolism is increasing lean muscle mass. You're not going to look bulky. You're not going to look masculine. I have it in my genetic makeup to look a little bit more structured, like an athletic body, but not everybody is built to have an athletic body. So don't be afraid of testosterone. When you get tested for testosterone, get your free, your bioavailable, and your total testosterone, because most docs will only test for one. You need to know all three. Make sure you get your insulin, fasting insulin checked. Make sure you get your leptin checked. Glucose, hemoglobin, A1C numbers are super important. And then if you are already overweight, which most of us are, get your leptin and your IGF-1, which is your growth hormone checked. And those are going to be, and if you are already menopausal, get your estradiol FSH checked. Those are all the essential hormones that have to align in order for you to be able to lose true fat. If you have had a hysterectomy like I have had, a lot of doctors will not supplement progesterone. I take progesterone because it has to be the alter hormone with estrogen. So if your estrogen levels are higher because you have no progesterone, Progesterone is the alter ego of estrogen. It's the fraternal sister. They have to balance each other. And if they don't balance each other, it's really hard to lose fat. So I take a small melt underneath of my tongue every night at bedtime because it's progesterone makes you tired. It helps you to sleep. So if you are struggling and all of your other numbers are looking right and you have had your hysterectomy, look at your physician at getting you bioidentical progesterone. It is a lab created hormone for your numbers made specifically for you that is not synthetic. Synthetic has a lot of side effects and it's pharmaceutically driven. Those are the main things that I want to share with you on the hormones because so many of you are here because you've asked me a lot of questions in other chats about what do I need to get tested? I'm not losing, I'm frustrated, I'm doing everything you've told me to do. The hormone balance is the secret to the weight loss when you're already doing everything else right. You can have the hormones in balance, but if you don't have the human growth hormone and you're not going through that recovery state every night when you're in bed, then it's really hard for your body to control its cortisol levels when you're up and going the next day. So give yourself the chance. If you haven't tried the BFR bands yet, give yourself the chance because I will tell you, I seriously look better than I looked when I was in my late 20s when I got into the accident. I went from a size 16, 18 to a size 6'8", and 50 pounds later. And I don't diet. Like I said, I've eaten junk food this week, unfortunately, because I've had a hectic schedule, not an excuse, but when I had a doctor's appointment today, actually to get, I had a ladies appointment today, if you will, and got some things checked. And so I stepped on the scale today with my clothes on at 153 pounds. So I started all this journey a little over 200 pounds. So, and I didn't have to work. I found the less that I worked hard. So if I worked at a comfortable pace, doing stuff that was pain-free on the platform or doing stuff with the bands, teaching some of my favorite workouts. Some days I go out and jump on the trampoline with my 10-year-old. Some days I'm just running up and down the stairs, just doing laundry and cleaning out, disinfecting my treatment room. So I'm in between clients. And some days it's just going for a walk. So every single workout that I have ever done to lose this weight is available in my Facebook group, Kivett Free Classes. You can go all the way back to last April and see me at 200 pounds, and you can see the whole transformation unfold. It's a lot of workouts, but they're all very, very comfortable paced. So whatever you're looking for, between the B3 group and all the videos that Dr. Mike provides, and between my group, and then of course there's so many amazing B3 coaches that have their own formulas that have worked well for them. Between all of us here on the team, there's so many different directions you can take it without having to feel like you're in it by yourself. So, and I think as we embrace our own journeys, and we love who we become because we understand ourselves so much more. As we are getting older, we have to embrace that we're not always going to be firm and skinny and glowing in the way that we recollect from years past. And those individuals, when they come in to see me, what they think that they used to look like and actually what they look like when they reflect back on that photo, when they're able to actually get back to that point with the weight loss, they don't like what they thought they might have been. So it's always fun to take those individuals and teach them how to love themselves the way that they are while they're wearing the bands and while they're doing these different programs with Life Pro, because they start to feel different in a physical kind of way. They don't have the pain. They don't have the autoimmune symptoms. They have more energy. They feel more sexually on top of the world. And I know like that is a taboo topic for a lot of women to talk about. But ladies, I'm just going to tell you, libido, if you don't have strong libido, or if your libido has taken a dive, the bands are another easy way to hack into that. And if you get on the platform, you talk about stimulating libido with the B3 bands, it's like rock awesome. So if you're needing natural methods to doing things, to making you feel sexy, to making yourself feeling like you're on top of the world and like you can love yourself and love others. I have no trouble with that at 2.5 years out of my hysterectomy, and I never thought I'd feel that way again. So it's been awesome. So thank you all so much for watching tonight. And if there's anybody that has questions, I would be happy to entertain questions. The one question that I know that's gonna that might come up, and I can't answer these questions because I am not a physician. But if you're asking where your numbers should be in your hormone testing, I highly encourage you to find a nurse practitioner in functional medicine, because those numbers are going to be different for every single one of you because of how they all line together. So you want your numbers to be in an optimal range, but I don't want to give you that exact number because it's going to be different based on what you can tolerate on your symptoms.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Amber. What an exciting story and an inspiration you've been for everybody at B3 and all the people you've referred and all the people we're going to help in the future. Thanks for bringing that wonderful story tonight and all that great advice.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Dr. Mike.
You're welcome. And we'll look forward to having Amber on again. She comes on about once every 3 months. And as you can see, she is a dynamite lady. And we are so blessed to have her in the company. So let's close out the presentation. So here's the conclusion. You heard about 2019, new technology we lost, 2020, all these people. Now in 2021, and what you've heard from Amber is, now we're at the point, why would you exercise without B3 bands? It just doesn't make sense. You're going to work harder. You're probably going to create stress hormones, and you're not going to get results. That's the basis of why this is such an exciting breakthrough. 5 years from now, we'll probably have 1 million people doing this, heading towards tens of millions and hundreds of millions of people worldwide. It's just a matter of you getting started on the band. So how do you get started? We're going to show you how to order. Next, we're going to provide you a coach. I'll talk about that. We'll show you how to start getting fast results. And then if you want, share with people. First, we're going to have a coach contact you as soon as you order the bands, and we'll send you a program. There's over 20 programs to choose from. The most common are lose weight, tone up, or get back in shape. And then we're going to send you different videos like how to get started, what to do the first day, how to put the bands on. And then you're going to have access to all kinds of videos, even advanced videos like Janine Grohl's 4-minute booty workout or Amber's workouts that she posts online. So I can tell you this, you're never going to be without assistance or different ideas. And this coaching that you get when you buy the bands or join yourself as a coach, that's for life. We're always going to be here to support you. Next, you're going to get to take the bands for a 30-day test drive. Here's what I can tell you. The bands don't come back if people put them on. People keep them. We have a saying, once you go bands, you never go back to the old way. But you're going to get 30 days to try them. And if you're not completely satisfied, you can send them back for a full refund. They also have a 12-month warranty. Next, we have multiple ways for you to pay. You can use your credit card, PayPal, or you can even access PayPal credit and do 0 down, 0 interest for 6 months. So you can get in the bands for about $75, or you can even get a business started like Amber has done and share it with people for as little as $100 per month, because we need coaches. We are now at the point where 245 million adults across the United States need to hear about this. And although we have 12,000 people using it, we only have about 2,500 coaches and consultants. And there's so many markets where we need people like you. So I want to encourage you tonight, when you see the options, hey, if you are already thinking about some people you care about, you'd like to share it with, think about joining as one of our coaches. We have an exciting compensation plan. We share approximately 40% of all of our sales of products and B3 bands back to people like you. When we hit our goals in the next 5 to 7 years, our goal, one of those is to be paying out $400 million annually. So this can turn into a very exciting additional income stream. And for some of you, could turn into financial freedom. What are your options? Well, option number 1 is customer. We have a $720 value that includes your own set of bands at your sizes, a free set of exercise tubing to work out from anywhere, and you're going to get coaching for life that goes along with that. If you'd like to start your own business, we have a level for $599. It includes the band, plus one of our great products in the business. And as Amber told you, she immediately joined at the founder level. She saw the opportunity here and she wanted to share it with people. So if you'd like to know more about those two different opportunities, we're going to give you several ways to do that tonight. Or if you want to just get started as a customer, you can do that. Now, there's a lot of people that are coming back on here that are customers. Many of you are Amber's customers. And as we hear, you're loving the band so much, you're wanting to know, hey, how can I upgrade my account? I want to share the bands. I want a website. I want that mobile app, the app that you simply download from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. And within seconds, you can be sharing something with the people you care about. Videos, web pages, science, presentations like this one. So we have very simple ways for you to upgrade to the consultant or coach level at $599 and even the founder level. And we will apply your $429 purchase to that. So for all of the people who are current customers, simply email us at support@b3sciences.com. And Lisa Watts, who's also part of our organization above Amber, is also available to assist any of you in learning about this upgrade program. And she'll even coach you on how to share it with people. So now, not only do we have a wonderful way for you to exercise, but if you're a current customer or you want to start at a customer level, you can upgrade at any time. Email us at support@b3sciences.com. Now, any questions you have tonight, any questions at all? You want the recording of the presentation? Hey, where can you get Amber's Life Pro plate? You know, in my company, I don't let anybody promote anything else in this company, but I can tell you, this is one case where I've made an exception because Amber has helped so many people, and I've got one of these vibration plates. So if you're looking for a cool way to exercise, I encourage you, get one of these Life Pro plates. Email us at support. We'll show you how you can get one of those. And I think Amber even has a special discount. And you can even become one of our certified coaches like Amber and Lisa Watts and Janine Grohl and Tammy and Sarah and Dr. Adams and Dr. Jennings are here. We will teach you right online to become a B3 BFR certified coach. You talk about having an education and being able to help people and build a business. Our next online course, you sit right at the comfort of home, is August 7th. Again, more information, email us at support@b3sciences.com. And we'll be back here in 3 weeks. I'm traveling a lot over the next several weeks, but we're going to do a live workout on June 23rd. We do those once a month. So we'll actually go live, and one of us will be doing a live workout for you to join in with us. I want to thank everybody for attending tonight. We're going to stop the recording now.